So before starting today's class, what we discussed in last class, we discussed about how to work with a calculator application, right? And what it mean by browser-based application, right? So we discussed that when you are working with a browser-based, must ensure, so we have to uncheck parent URL. And when we are working with browser-based, it by default it will be Internet Explorer. It will work 100% perfectly with Internet Explorer only. That's why every time when you are working with any browser based application, we have to use Internet Explorer. And when you are working with Internet Explorer, the default rule is it should be the zoom should be 100%. Okay, that is the best practice. Every time you have to check. And now today what we are going to do is we are going to work with inbuilt applications. Inbuilt applications already it has been created by Blue Prism. We will call this as a VBOs, business object. In the short form, in some organizations they will call it as a business objects. Business objects are visual basic objects, both are same, are inbuilt business objects. Don't get confused. Inbuilt business objects. And we have another thing as a internal business objects. We have a difference in between these two things. Sometimes in interviews they will ask that what is the difference between internal business object and then VBOs. We will see that what it means by that exactly. Okay.
Dinesh, before this one,
Mm.
so yesterday we were discussing about this web-based applications, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So do we have any a record and play option in Blue Prism
No.
to automate?
No,
No.
we don't
Okay.
have that. Extension we
Okay.
have to create a
Okay.
reusable business objects individually for each and every option, each and every action.
Okay.
Okay, we don't have
Fine.
that.
Thank you. Yeah, just wanted to confirm on that one.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's fine. Good. Now we'll see. So how to work with inbuilt business object. We saw that how to automate user-defined business objects. These things, Notepad and then Google, whatever the things we saw in last classes, it's not available in your Blue Prism. That's why we created. For example, here if you want to work with Excel, or if you want to work with Word, or if you want to work with databases, and if you want to work with email automations, all these things it's already inbuilt, readily available to use. Readily available to use. Now we'll see what all the business objects it's readily available in a Blue Prism. Just we'll open Blue Prism. Just a minute. Projections. Okay. If you observe here, so how to check what all the business objects we have internally. Go to File, go to Import, click on Browse. Observe this. Here all these are internal business objects. If you want to check in your machine where it has been available, just go to C and program files where your Blue Prism has been installed. If you installed in a D drive, you can go to D drive and then you can able to say Blue Prism Limited. Just double click on that and you will get an option called Blue Prism Automate. Open that one. Observe this. VBOs, Visual Basic Objects. Double click on that. Now observe this. All these are internal business objects. It's created by Blue Prism. It's readily available to use. No need to create. For example, in the previous applications, Notepad or Google, what we have done, each and every action we created in Object Studio. If you want to launch, if you want to terminate, if you want to click on file, if you want to click on save or save as, or in Google like feeling lucky, or if you want to type everything, we created manually all the actions, right? But here all the actions are already inbuilt here. If you want to use anything, any visual basic objects or business objects, visual basic business objects, just click on that. For example, we need to work with the Excel and click open. It will pick and click on next. Already it's available, that's why it is asking. Okay, let it be. I'm going to overwrite. Okay, it's database thing we imported. So we need to work with Excel import, browse, MS Excel, right? Click open. So observe this MS Excel .xml PPA object. Now next, again overwrite. Now it has been done. Now click on finish. So like this, you can able to import any internal business objects. It's already available. Those things you can able to. Once you imported, it will be available in your object studio. Observe this data SQL server. It has been imported previously. MS Excel VBO. It's already imported now. If you want to check what all the actions it's available in Blue Prism, just double click on that business object. Then you can able to see what we have there. I'm double clicking on this. Open. Now observe this. All these are. Did we created these actions? No, we didn't created any of these actions. What it mean by the action? Every option in your application is a separate action. In MS Excel, Microsoft Excel, how many options we can able to perform? For example, copy the data, paste, and if you want to enter the data, you can write something, and you can cut the data, you can save or save as, and so on, right? You can able to click on file and then create a new Excel file. You can attach something into the Excel file. You can create a new sheets, and you can delete the sheets. You can move the sheets, and then create a cells, create a rows. All these options you can able to perform in a Excel. Each and every option is a separate action. See here how many actions it's already created. If you want to see, also this, all these are the list of actions. It's available in MS Excel visual business objects. Select, delete, insert, copy, cut, paste, get values, and format cell, save as, save, save workbook, save workbook as, close workbook, and then open workbook. It's nothing but a file. Workbook is nothing but Excel file, and then show if you want to see the data in the Excel file. Observe this, each and everything. Format cell if you want to format the cell, if you want to set window size or set values, everything it is available here, right? By using these actions, we can able to work with MS Excel application. Now it's already everything is created. If you want to use these things in your process studio, we have to know what are the things we have to perform. So what we have done previously in Notepad, first we created a launch. We used a launch. If you want to work with a Notepad, we need to launch. That's the default thing. If you want to work with a Google, you need to launch Google. Then application will launch, right? If you use launch, then application Notepad application will open, right? Once you open only, then only you can perform different things. Same way here in MS Excel VBO, we have default some three actions. This is mandatory everywhere we are going to implement. Most of the time, 99% of the time, you are going to use these three actions mandatorily. You have to know, must and should blindly remember these three actions. Sometimes in interview they will ask that what are the business objects you are going to use when we are working with a Excel file. Why we need to go for a Excel file basically? Suppose when you are working with collections, what we have done previously we entered data manually, right? We created a columns and we given a values for the columns manually we have done. Suppose assume that you have 1000 records or 2000 records or more than 100 or more than 200. Can you able to do it manually each and everything? It will take some time, right? That is not the best approach. We have a option called from Excel. We can able to pick the data and then we can give it to collection. Once you get the data into the collection, you can able to perform whatever you want. You can able to give this data to some other application. You can calculate from this data, you can calculate a total salary or whatever it may be. You can able to perform those things. Now we will see the basic actions what we need to implement in your MS Excel business object. Now, if you want to work with the Excel normally, generally, what we are going to do, we will open, right? We will open. It means you are going to double click on the Excel file. We can use both the options, anything. When you are working with that, what is going to be happen in the backend? It will run a executable file, right? The same thing we created by using application module and then we have used launch. Same way here, when you want to work with the Excel file, if you want to open that Excel file, we have an option called create instance. Create instance. This action it will enable all the properties to work with the Excel file. It will enable all, it means in the backend it will enable that executable file for the Excel and then it will enable the remaining properties to work with a Excel file. Okay, so once it is done, if you want to open any file, what you need to know, you need to understand where your file is available, in which path, right? If you want to open, you need to understand which path the file is available. This create instance action, it is going to enable all properties to work with the Excel file. Next, we have an action called open workbook. Open workbook. This here, you need to give which path the file is available. When you double click on Excel, it will open, right? If you want to double click or if you want to open that Excel, so what we have to do? We have to go to the path where the Excel file is available. If it is in a desktop, we need to choose the path. If it is in a D drive, then we have to choose a path. If it is in a E drive, we have to go to the specific path where the Excel file is available. That's why when you are opening a workbook, you need to mention the path. You need to mention path where the file is available. And next, our requirement is we need to copy the data from Excel to collection, from Excel file to collection. When you are copying some data from Excel file to some other file or Excel file to Notepad, whatever it may be, what we need to know, in a Excel file, you will have n number of sheets like sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, right? You need to understand from which sheet you need to copy the data. We have another action called get worksheet as collection. Get worksheet as collection. Now when you want to, it will, what it will do is this action, it will copy the data from worksheet to collection. Here you need to know from which sheet you need to copy the data. You need to specify the sheet. Do you want to copy the data from sheet 1, or do you want to copy the data from sheet 2? Whatever it may be, it will be like that. Okay, these three actions must ensure you need to know how to work with this. By default you are going to do the same thing when you are working with Excel. 99% of the time you are going to use only these three actions. We have some other actions also, like save, save as, and then write the collection, so many things. Okay, so we'll discuss those things also, but the blindly you can have to remember these three things. Create instance is a must and should. If you want to enable to work with a Excel file, must and should create instance. Now if you want to open workbook, then you need to have a path. You need to know the path where the file is available. Just assume that manually, when how you are doing, you need to copy the data from Excel file from sheet 1. What you need to know? You need to know that Excel should be installed in your machine. Is it installed or not? You need to check. That is nothing but a create instance. Next, you have to open that file, Excel file. Then only we can able to copy. That's why we have a open workbook. Here you need to know in which path the file is available. Next thing, get worksheet as collection. From which sheet you need to copy the data, you need to know. These are the three things it's mandatory when we are working with the Excel file. Now observe, our requirement is, go to desktop, any Excel I will pick. Okay. This is Excel file data. ID, name, salary, and designation. Here we have, again and again I will pick this. We have around 11 records here. We need to copy this data from Excel to collection. So this manually, if you want to do that, I need to know where the file is available. Double click. When you double click, it will open, and then you need to know from which sheet you need to copy the data. Sheet 1. I need to copy this data. That is our requirement. We have to work with a Excel file. Now first we need to check, is your business object is available for a Excel or not. We imported it. Already we have imported. Yes, it is available. I'm going to close that. We will create new process for this. Create a process, Excel example. Next, finish. Now already we have actions there. We have to use those actions here in a process studio. How to use those things? By using action shape. Double click. When you double click, observe what it's asking. Give me the business object name. Give me the action name. What is the business object? MS Excel VBO. Observe this. Here this MS Excel VBO we imported. If you observe another one, we have a list of internal business objects. What is the difference between normal VBOs, visual business objects or visual basic objects, or internal business objects? Here these things, it's already available in a Blue Prism internally. No need to import. No need to import from library, Blue Prism library. Here these things whenever it is required, we need to import based on your requirement. If you want to work with the Excel, you need to go to file and then we have to import, then only you can able to work with that. But these things no need to import. By default those things is already available. So that's the difference between these business objects and these internal business objects. Okay, remember this. Now what is your business object name? MS Excel VBO. And which action you need to perform? You need to perform, first thing is create instance. We will give it the same name, create instance. Now go to action, create instance. See this, input and output, right? When you are using this create instance, this create instance will run in the backend in Object Studio. Then we have to give input and output. Input, so by default it will be true. Input by default it will be true. Wherever you can able to see the flag, remember that it will be by default true option. If you don't want to enable that, if you don't want to enable the events, then we have to give it as a false. We have to give it as a false. To give true or false, no need to give in double quotes. It's not required. If you just give true, it will work. If you just give false, it will work. It will be like this. If you don't give also, it will work. Caps T and then really true. And then false means caps F, FALSC. Now output. We have to store this output. Why we need to store this output? We came to know. Whatever the thing when it is working in your Object Studio, it will ask your inputs. Once the process has run in the Object Studio, then it will give your output. Output we are capturing, we are storing into this particular handle. This particular handle. Now come to click OK. Next, what we need to do? Open workbook. Again, use action, double click, open workbook. When you click on open workbook, your business object is MS Excel VBO, and action is you will have open workbook action. Open workbook. Okay, what it is asking, inputs. And then what it is asking after the input, it is asking handle, give me the handle and then give me the file name, right? If you want to open, what we have to do, we need to know what is the file name for that. So it means file name is nothing but here path of the file where your Excel file is available. Already we have taken a handle as a output in a first. That handle you need to give it here. And what about the path? Go to desktop, select this, hold your shift key and then right click. Then you will get an option called copy as path. Now come here, give that path here. In this path, the EMP Excel file is available. Now output, what it is generating, store it in workbook name. It's nothing but a file name. What is the file name here? emp.xls, right? XLSX. That is your file name. emp is your file name. So it will capture the file name here. And next, let it be. Next action is, our requirement is we need to load all this data into collection. Whatever the data is it in a file. So get to collection. business object name MS Excel VBO, and action name get worksheet as collection. So this get worksheet as collection. What are the things it is asking as input? Handle, and then workbook name, and then worksheet name. We need to specify the sheet name. Go to this sheet. What is the sheet name here for EMP? Double click. Observe this sheet 1. Sheet 1. You need to give this name. You will see. Come here. Give me the sheet name. Control. Sheet 1. Okay. What is the output? Observe the output. Based on your actions, you are going to create input and output parameters. Right? Input parameters before starting the process. Output parameters after completion of the process. Right? Before starting this action, it is asking all the input parameters. Give me all the input parameters. After completion of the action, so process, you need a output. Output is collection. EMP, right? EMP collection. If you want to so create another with another name, just remove it. EMP data. Click it. And this one it is not required. We will delete it. Click OK. Now all the data, whatever the data we have in that Excel sheet, all the data it will come to this collection. Now we'll see that. Run this. Okay. So before running this, okay. Now observe these actions from the reverse. What is our final requirement? You need to get the data from Excel and you need to write it into collection. For that, we have to use get worksheet as collection. What are the things it is asking? Give me the workbook name, give me the sheet name, and give me the handle name. Sheet name, we know that. Sheet 1. What about this? What is workbook name? What is handle? To generate this workbook name, what we are doing? Previous action, we are giving these things output. So this is the workbook name. We are generating output. Here, if you want to generate that workbook name, we need to know the path where the file is available. Right? If you want to know the path where the file is available, in which path, you need to understand is that Excel properties is available. Excel is enabled in your system or not. Is it means Excel is it installed in your system or not? It will check. That's why we have to give handle. If it is installed in a system, then only we can go to the specific path. Same thing. Again, we need a handle. So how you will get the handle here? By using create instance. See this? When you give enable events and then output, it will create a handle. It means that Excel file is available in your system. That's the meaning of this. Now you understood the sequence, right? What is the sequence? First is create instance, open workbook, and get worksheet as collections. Now click OK. Reset. Now we're going to run. No need to open this Excel file. Automatically it will open and then it will pick the things from the backend. That's the intention of create instance. And okay, I will show you one thing. Yeah, we are running this now. Sorry. What happened? Create instance, open workbook, get worksheet as collection. Observe what it's saying, handle, just it is giving a number. That is fine. Next, what it is giving, what is the output it is generating in a open workbook. Observe this workbook name. It's nothing but your Excel file name. Your Excel file name is emp.xlsx, right? And next, it is generate. It is loading the data into your Excel so collections. Double click. Come to the current value. Now observe this. Whatever the data, how many records we have in the collection, it will how many records you have in your Excel sheet. It is copied everything, and then it has been loaded all the data into collections. Understood it? So what it mean by that? Now the best practice is, once you create instance, after completion of this process you have to close. Otherwise, still Excel will be available in the backend. Whatever the Excel here, when you are opening workbook, it will open in the backend, but you can't able to see that. If you want to see that, go to taskbar, task manager, and somewhere you can able to see Excel is running. Can you able to see anywhere? This is different. Any process, go to anything. See this? Microsoft Excel. It has been opened in the backend, right? So you can able to see it. And if you don't want to run this in a backend, you need to use close instance. First we need to create instance. The last action is you need to close the instance. This is a default thing. Use action, double click, come to close instance, close instance. Come here, MS Excel VBO. See this? You can use close all instances, and you can use close instance also. Anything is fine. Which one you need to close? This one, right? Save changes. Always it will be true. Before closing, so it is going to save the changes in that particular Excel file. If you do any modifications, if you write some data into the Excel file, it is going to save, and then so it will be stored. Now click OK. Give the link. Now again reset pointer. Now run again. Run this. It's done, right? Okay. Now observe this. Again come to,
Dinesh, for
yeah,
save changes, don't we need to provide any value
which one?
for
Come,
save changes?
save changes we need to provide. Just we need to give the handle name and then workbook name. That's it. Automatically it will say. Here, so you are talking about this
Okay.
create instance. Here it is not required. And if you want to save as workbook, save workbook as, then we have to provide. We will discuss those things also.
Okay. Okay.
Now come to this task process. See this. Can you able to see anywhere Excel? See this? No, right? Previously you can able to see so Microsoft Excel here, but now so here it has been closed, right? Because of this close instance. Okay. One more thing. Sometimes when you are working with this, you need to open that Excel file when it is working in the backend. Instead of working in the backend, you need to see that Excel file in the front end. Then we have an option called show. Show means it will open that particular workbook when it is running. When it is running. For example, just observe this. Sometimes in interview they will ask, so how to see that particular Excel file when you are working with that. Now observe this. After open workbook, it will open. Here we need to use show. After after opening only you can able to see that action. Double click here, double click, show MS Excel VBO. We have an option somewhere, show will be there. Yep, show. And just we need to give the handle name, that's it. Automatically if we run your handle name, it is going to open when it is running. Give pointer. Okay. Reset. Now run. See this? During the runtime it's open here. Have you observed? Run. Can you able to see here? Right? Okay. We'll run very slowly. You can able to observe this. Slow. Now run. See this? It's open, right? It's copied and it closed. Because of close instance, it has automatically it will close the thing. When you are during the runtime, if you want to see so what is happening in an Excel file during the runtime, if you want to see which Excel file is opening, then we can use a show output, show option. Okay, just remember this. So sometimes in interview they will ask, so when I am running the process, I need to check whether which Excel file is opening and what is happening in the Excel file. You observe, right? It is copying. It has highlighted some data and then it is copying. Then you will see that it is trying to open. It will show now. Here it will come. Observe this. It will copy this. It's copied, right? The copied data it's given to collection. That's the thing. Okay. Now assume that our requirement is after loading the data into collection, or we have done some calculation like total salary equal to salary plus commission or tax. We need to calculate a tax based on salary. Tax is a output, total salary is a output. These outputs we need to load it into some Excel file. After that I need to write it into some other Excel file. We can able to do that. We can write the outputs data into collections, and these collections we can able to save it into some other Excel file. That is possible. Okay, we'll see that. So what is that action? So which action you can able to perform for that? You will have an option called here. Just pull that action, double click, write collection, write collection. This one what it is going to do is whatever the data we have in the collection, those data it will bake and then it is going to work. Now observe this MS Excel VBO and write collection. What it is asking, see this handle, right? And then workbook name, from which workbook name you need to write the data, and collection, for which collection, and so worksheet name. So for example in this thing sheet 2, sheet 2, sorry, sheet 2 I need to write here, and cell reference. What it means by cell reference here, if you observe Excel file. I will open that Excel file. Double click. When you click on this, each and everything here is a cells. We'll call it as a cells. Now click on here. What it says G9. See this G and 9. This is the cell reference. If you want to write the data into a sheet 2 from here, then the cell reference is A1. Here, if you want to start the data from here, then cell reference is A8. Or if you want to write the data from here, then your cell reference is E4. Based on your requirement, you can give your cell references. For example, here I will give, say, E5. E5 I have given, and include column names. It is true. By default, it will be true. If you don't want to include the column names, you can give false. Column names is nothing but headers here. It will copy headers. If you give false, it will not copy the columns. It will give only the data from that Excel file. Okay. Now we have given everything, and so we don't have output anything. It is going to write the data from this collections to from this collection name is EMP, and to this workbook. In this workbook, it will write it into sheet 2. Click OK. Now after that, we are writing something, right? After that, we have to save. Then you have an option called save workbook or save workbook as. If you want to save the data into the same thing, you have to use save workbook. If you want to save the data into a separate Excel file, you can use save workbook as. See this? Save workbook as, both the thing. If you want to use save workbook as, see this, what it is asking? Input handle, workbook name, and then file name is nothing but path. In which path you have to create this Excel file, you can give this. Okay, let it be. Otherwise, if you want to use save workbook, no need to give the path. In the same path, it will, same file it is going to save, right? It will not give in, so it is not required here anything. So just give the handle, workbook name. What is the workbook name? This is the workbook name. In this workbook, I need to write the data after completing the calculation or whatever it may be. So this one is save workbook. Save workbook. Now click OK. That's it, right? Now give the link from here to here. After that, you need to close the instance. In between, if you close the instance, after that remaining actions will not perform because already it has been closed. The instance has been closed. You can't able to see that. Now here I will close this, reset, and run. It's running. It's writing the data into the collection, from the collection to Excel, and then it has been saved. After that, it has been closed. Now observe this file, EMP file, right? EMP. See this? From where it has written? From here. We have, because we have given this cell reference as a E5. If you want to write the data from here, you can write it from A1. If you want to save this workbook with a different name, not with the EMP, I need to save it with EMP underscore new. Then you will copy that path where you need to create the file. So that path, if you give, automatically it will create the file in that particular specific path with that particular new workbook name. It will be like that. Okay. Sorry. Any doubts in this class? Anyone? Gopal Krishna, Narahari, Sudhakar, anyone? So, but master should, I am telling that you have to practice. If you practice, then only you can able to remember each and everything, how to perform these things. So when we are explaining, So when you are seeing these things, you can able to understand everything. But when it is coming to the practice, you will feel that, so you will get confused. So where to go and then which option I need to select. At least 2 to 3 times you have to implement each and every process, whatever the things we are discussing in the classes. Okay.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
Dinesh.
Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, bye.
Yeah.